returns to San Jose. Wicked. The untold true story of the Witches of Oz. The musical the Los Angeles Times calls a phenomenon that keeps growing, flies back to the San Jose Center for the Performing Arts, August 4th.
Sorry. This is the way. There we go.
You guys are here. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, my name is Charlie Toledo, and I'm a director of Suscol Intertribal Council. I'm a descendant of the Towa people, which is a native tribe to New Mexico, just southwest of Santa Fe. But I grew up in urban area. I was assimilated. My parents were assimilated, so which means that we were kind of forced, not by choice, into the dominant culture. I moved to Napa in 1972, and I reorganized Suscol Council in 1992. The principal goal, the reason we reorganized, was to set up a land base, a spiritual gathering place for Native American people to come, be able to do ceremony, and celebrate their culture and share their culture, preserve it for future generations.
So what are some of the bigger issues that you had to deal with at the start of your organization?
Well, in 1992, when I restarted it, the biggest things that we were dealing with was human rights issues. Because when we restarted, we had to start dealing with the police and the FBI and the Sheriff's Department. So part of what I realized is Native Americans in the United States were still being oppressed.
The police were called by a parent who reported feeling nervous because they joined late and were quieter than others on the tour.
Construction runs along the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. Demonstrators say it's destroying sacred land.
So the hardest thing was dealing with that. I wasn't anticipating the hostility from the local community and from the police and from the FBI. So then we had to go, and that was in 1995. I started going out to the UN, filing human rights complaints about Napa County with the United Nations. Over 5 years since then.
500 nations pre-Columbus, still here, representing from California to Maine, from Mexico to Canada.
There's been quite a few hard decisions. I think the mascot thing was really the hardest. That was hard because it was the last year.
Super proud to be an Indian. You never put it down. It was looked up upon, not down upon. Nobody ever was, ever trying to be shameful. So I don't even know where this is coming from.
And I thought that we had made so much progress in the community as far as educating people and sensitizing people to the needs and dangers of being Native American, and that wasn't true. And so just the decision to stay focused on having that be removed, that was hard. And I think that my daughter was working with us at the time, and that she became the front person. She went to Napa High School. And my one oldest daughter had been a cheerleader at Napa High. And when she was in high school, she'd asked me not to bring the mascot issue up because we knew that every time it came up, which it did about 4 times in the last 20 years.
This evening, Doris Gentry, and we have an audience full of Napa Indians. Woo! And they are here to defend their honor. They are here to defend their mascot.
That I would start getting death threats and stuff like that. So I didn't bring it up during the time my kids were in high school. But it was hard because now my adult children have children, and they had to deal with their peers and friends being really hostile and nasty and rude and mean. And that was really hard. I think it was way more difficult than I imagined. And even though that's settled and the mascots changed, there's still a lot of animosity in the community. So that was unfortunate. I think that was hard. I knew it was going to be hard, and I knew that it was going to people had really different opinions, and it was very emotional.
Since the first day I stepped on this campus, I was proud of being an Indian. Now that I'm a senior, for football especially, I'm very proud to say and represent on my team right now that we're Indians, and I hope it doesn't change because I really...
Well, the reason that we wanted to set up a safe place for Native Americans to gather was because of all that endangerment. It wasn't until 1978 that Native Americans, it was legal to gather and practice ceremony. Up until then, you could be put in jail, or like what Jim Big Bear experienced in the early 70s, that he was constantly being threatened by people with guns.
With just everything that's happened, they're probably fine and just creepy kids.
Are they white males?
I think they're Hispanic, I believe.
When I started getting involved with the Native American population in the early 90s, I didn't realize it was going to be that level of high risk. That really brought to the forefront how antagonistic and narrow-minded, I guess, that people are. They don't have an understanding of what happened to the Native population, and even when they're educated about it, they don't care. They want it to be the way it is. They want it to be like it's a possession that they can do whatever they want with, a whole ethnic group of people. So that's I think that's our biggest challenge.